What do you want on your tombstone, cocksucker?
Why don't you write? There's no cure for a fool with a gun.
Well, Rock, goodbye. See ya.
The anime series Black Lagoon is a 2007 action anime series. It relies on insane, bonkers action set pieces that include the likes of a woman jumping from a speedboat to speedboat with a grenade launcher blowing them up, to that same woman dual-wielding pistols with a urban samurai massacring a gang at a bowling alley, to an entire bar full of Russian mobsters being carved to pieces with a Browning automatic rifle and a battle axe by a pair of Romanian insane children. This series also, unlike Berserk, Inuyasha, or Dragon Ball, relies heavily more on episodic plots that follow a new character and the situation that our central cast finds them in, as compared to the lives and changing characters of the central cast themselves, namely the two main leads, Revy and Rock. Among these include a drama about heritage, honor, and inheritance, and the Fujiyama Gangster Paradise arc. It follows a series about the tragic last days of a pair of insane Romanian twins, and it also follows a drug cartel trying to track down his lost mate in the Rasta Blasta arc. However, the best episode overall, that easily furnishes one of the series' best strengths,
Hey, you bitch!
its dialogue, is actually one that is largely devoid of action and focuses on Revy and Rock. It's the 7th episode of the first season, and it's called Calm Down Two Men. It opens up, Revy and Rock are running errands. There's a tension in the air from the previous episode, and that fuels the difference between the two, a discomfort. They're sent on the most mundane of errands. They are sent to collect money for a shipment of liquor that they've handled for a strip club owner. They visit up the Russian mob boss that basically runs that town to get an update from her, and are asked by her to watch a group of renegade drug runners that are operating without the Russians' permission. And finally, they're sent to collect a gun that they ordered from arms-dealing nuns. The nuns say that they have the gun, but they don't want to part with it because someone else is offering a better price. Now, and throughout most of these situations, Revy has been the one who's calm. She's cool. She's completely at home in the anime GTA city of Roanapur. It's a world filled with violent people, and she's a person who both walks the walk and can talk the talk. But in this situation, her threats, her pulling her gun on the nuns, it only results in a gun being pulled and pointed at her, and idle threats not being idle by the other side. Then Rock coins in.
This is very good tea, sister.
His strengths now shine. He interjects that a lot of the behavior, such as the storing of linens inside of a tool shed, as well as many other things, lead to a lot of questionable issues that can be brought up about the arms-dealing nuns. He also uses an anecdote about a tea company that both him and the head nun both enjoy.
It takes a company with that kind of history and dedication to deliver such flavor without fail. That's true for any company, even if their products differ.
As a kind of statement saying that companies really want their customers to not turn on them, they should deliver on their promises. He essentially states that he knows that they're smuggling the drug, and to keep the wrath from the Russian mob boss lady to rain down on the nuns, they have to give them the gun that they want. Although in much more subtle terms than I've stated. It's at this moment that the nun congratulates Rock and says to give them the gun. He leaves, and Revy leaves spitting insults, spitting angrily at the nun. We then cut to perhaps the best part of the whole episode. The best 7 minutes in the entirety of the series of Black Lagoon, and some of the best dialogue I've ever seen. It starts off with Revy saying that perhaps Rock should walk back to the office, that she should just take the car and go back, and he says he doesn't want to walk. She then says,
What? You should go back to Japan. You're just not cut out for this.
He's clearly not cut out for life inside of the unbridled insanity that is the setting of Roanapur. He states that she's the one, calling back to the second episode of the series, that she's the one that invited him to join the crew and live in Roanapur. She laments that decision. He states that
I'm not gonna apologize anymore.
for his behavior, his opinions, or his contributions. That his perspectives and ideas about small things and large things, he's simply not going to state that he finds them wrong. She points a gun at him, and when she pulls the trigger, in an unexpected fit of speed and strength, he grabs the gun and he points it away from his head. She calls him spoiled and arrogant, saying that he doesn't know anything about true hardship, that he's lived his entire life in a middle-class bubble in Japan. He even had an office job before he joined them. He says to her that you don't know really anything about me. He claims that she says he doesn't understand her life, but that she doesn't understand his life either. He said that he left Japan to come to Roanapur because he didn't want to be used by his corporate bosses, who essentially treated him like a wet rag, and that he's not going to do that for her either. He says that whenever she talks, she acts...
Aren't you supposed to be some kind of outlaw, a wild pirate? But as soon as you open your mouth, all I ever hear you talking about is money, money, money. You think you'd be some hard-ass villain after the big prize, but you end up scavenging off corpses instead.
It's like a vulture, and then he finds that a distasteful part of her. She says that ultimately there are no heroes. Life isn't a movie. Only if you watch out for yourself do you ever survive. Rock then easily has one of the best quotes in the entire series.
If there's no Robin Hood, then why don't you become Robin Hood? It's gotta be better than feeling sorry for yourself, crying about your hard life.
He cites the strength that she has such pride in, the power to take what she wants that she so often uses. He argues, if you and so many other people in the city have that power, then why don't you become the heroes that you claim don't exist? And he reveals several things. When she says to shut up or she'll attack him, he says, go right ahead. He says that his entire point about her being petty is proven with her attack.
That's all I know how to do!
Uncharacteristically to his relatively weak nature throughout most of the series, he endures it. He stands there solid as a statue, and he grabs her hand and he says to her, you're the one that invited me here. He says that his life was so meaningless before, that life was going to work and coming back from it, that he was pushed around and mistreated, that he didn't have any strength or a voice of his own. And when she walked into his life with a gun loaded and pointed at his face, and when she gave him the opportunity to prove himself, to protect his own life, and when she offered him a chance to live in a city and to be part of a small group of people that would value his contributions, the Lagoon Company, he said that it was a breath of fresh air, that she changed his life and who she was, and that he's ultimately concerned and doesn't want her to be a petty thief because he doesn't want her to become like
the people who betrayed me.
As someone that would turn on somebody that they've had such an important impact on for something as small in comparison to living as money. The dialogue pretty much ends there, but it's a blow-up and confrontation. This leads to a wonderfully violent exclamation point. The closest thing to action in the entire episode is the gunshot that starts the argument and the punch in the face that starts easily the best part of the dialogue. He states this to her about her inviting him to Roanapur, about his life changing, and about his concern about her becoming like the people that she hates and that he left. It shows that he's gotten stronger because of her impact, that he cares about her and doesn't want her to become greedy, empty people. And she says that that's all that she knows how to do. It's a great bit of dialogue because it reveals so much about the characters and it changes their dynamic forever. After this, they get taken away by the bribed police officers to fill out paperwork to make sure that they don't get in trouble for firing a gun in public. And on the way back, they lament about how just boring and tedious the day was and how tiring it was. They're both given a cigarette, and Rock's cigarette is lit, and Revy asks him to light hers with his own. And it ends the episode on quite a beautiful looking cigarette kiss, showing how close that they've grown, yet how far and professional they still somewhat remain. They're learning more about each other, that they're growing as individuals. In the background of all the other episodes that have happened since then, such as the episode with the boat chase, and an episode where they're sent to go after a painting by Hitler and fighting off neo-Nazis, that there has been real character growth in the background, that they've changed as people. Rock has come to care about her, and Revy's come to be embarrassed by not impressing him. Their dynamic genuinely changes after the episode. She becomes more caring and protective, even to the point where the previously mentioned Fujiyama Gangster Paradise arc, she willingly chooses to go to Japan to guard him. It's poetic dialogue. It's like something you would find in a Tarantino movie, yet it's so much more personal. It's quotable, and it's easily the best part of one of the best anime to ever come out of 2007.
I'm so tired. I want to go home and sleep.